All right, as fall season comes and we get closer to soccer season, we're able to sit down with head coach of the St. Cloud State men's soccer team, head coach Sean Holmes. Sean, thank you for joining me today as we go over this new season for St. Cloud State men's soccer.
Isaac, excited to be here.
All right, so in the preseason poll released by the GLIAC, the Huskies were projected to finish fifth in the conference after coming off of a 3-6-6 record in 2023 with a 3-4-4 record in GLIAC play. 2023 flipped what had predominantly been an offensive focus into a new defensive mindset. The program tallied 5 shutouts, only 2 the previous 2 years, allowed 29 goals, which was 11 less than the previous season low, and averaged 1.93 goals allowed per game, which was also a season low over the 10-year. What needs to happen for this program to continue building upon the making of a great defensive unit?
Well, we're returning a lot of guys, but we've got new guys as well. So I think there are lots of challenges. We really you talked about our goal total, goals against going down. We also had a crazy result at the start of the season that skews those numbers a little bit. So really, we improved a lot at the back, and it wasn't so much a question of personnel or we just decided that this was how we were going to play, and that we recommitted to defending. And I've said we were the team that tied our way to glory. We were terrific. We showed a lot of resolve, a lot of character, and I think there was enormous improvement. So we've gone from not being in the playoffs to being in the playoffs to hosting a playoff game. So now it's winning and trying to make a run into the conference and perhaps into the NCAA tournament as well.
Did that MSU Denver game at the beginning of the year, did that kind of set a fire under your players and kind of set the tone and kind of change up your mindset with that at all?
No, because the arduous journey, coming back from Colorado was followed by 2 more losses. Where we improved a little bit, but I think we gave up. We might have given up, 16, 17. We gave up a lot of goals in the first couple of games, and we just couldn't get ourselves organized. And we had some good defenders. We had a very good goalkeeper in Dylan DeBaldo. We just didn't really have it figured out. Things weren't clicking. And so it really was when we entered conference play, right? We played, I think, Truman State and Upper Iowa, 2 regional rivals from the GLVC were our games following Colorado. And I just think it was when conference came, that's the great thing about collegiate sport, right? Every pre-conference game is sort of like it's real, but it's not real. When conference, everyone starts conference 0-0-0. And so that's what we told our guys, right? We all have the same record on the same day starting the season, and the rest was forgotten. I think the guys did a pretty good job. It was a little quick forgetting and moving on. So I was pleased with our maturity.
Sports in general, you need to have that quick forgetting mindset. You don't want to be dwelling on a lot of things either.
Yeah.
Looking at your offense last year, they struggled to put some points on the board with program lows of 0.87 goals per game and 13 total goals on the year. How does having a healthy Andres Garcia, who put up a single season high of 16 points and 8 goals in his freshman season, impact the offensive production for this upcoming year?
Oh, I think it changes it. Even in our home playoff tie last year, we lost on penalty kicks to Saginaw Valley State. I thought we created enough chances, like in the games that we competed that last 2/3 of the season, really the conference season. We created chances. We didn't have, I don't want to say the focus, the concentration, sometimes the quality to finish the chances that need to be finished. So sometimes you play and you just don't get chances, right? You never look like scoring. But to use football parlance, we got into the red zone, we just didn't convert, and so that's we worked on it a lot this spring. We saw some improvement. We've added a couple new guys, in the attacking part of our team. And then the biggest part of the maturation process is patience, right? Everyone is a year older. And when you add that year to a lot of guys, granted, we lost a couple of guys to graduation, but when you add maturity to those guys, a little bit of muscle, a little bit of age, a little bit of wisdom, it makes a difference. So I expect us to be a little more, to finish some of those chances that we created.
And that kind of goes along with the law of averages too. Just everything's going to even out in the end and get everything back on track to that norm after a somewhat down year for the Huskies this past year.
I think,
As
yeah,
you
yeah, that's one way of putting it. Yeah.
as you talked about losing some guys to graduation, Vuko Tomasilovic, one of those guys, one of your vocal leaders on the defensive end. Nobody has played more minutes than Vuk in his 4 years with the program. Nobody has played more games than Vuk in the program. While you did lose him on the field, you were able to bring him back as an assistant coach for this team. How do you go about filling in that all-conference hole that Vuk left? And what can you say about his impact as to the team as a coach this upcoming year?
Well, he's got a lot of maturity for a guy who's just 24. Uh, I think you know the most difficult part of college sport, collegiate sport, is that guys are always graduating. Right? It's the most gratifying part of the job. Right? It is the business. We're in the business of moving guys on and growing guys and giving guys opportunities and helping them develop. Uh, so to see him transition, I think there'll all obviously be a couple of moments where the guys forget he's not their teammate anymore, and there'll be some authority moments, and he'll have to kind of sort of stamp his own sort of personality on things. But uh, anytime you graduate guys, right? I've been doing this a long time. Anytime you ask hockey coaches, football coaches, basketball coaches, right? Guys graduate, God, how can we replace them? And the next guys come, right? There's a collegiate sport always is producing its own vacuum, right? Guys leave, new guys step into it, and we saw really some really good growth in the spring, and you forget that sometimes you see headshots of some of the guys, when they were freshmen. Facebook, of course, gives us access to everyone's pictures now, but you see guys that think, man, that guy looks so young. He looks so like a kid. And so we have 23-year-old guys now. We have guys who've been in the program a couple of years. Owen Worsdale, Andrew Holmes, Noah Eklund, Noah Kantorowicz. These guys coming into the third and fourth year of college. So I think that there'll be lots of guys that rise to the opportunity, rise to the occasion. But I'm pleased that he's here because he has he has a great soccer brain, and he has a real sense of how he carries himself. You know, we were we were bummed out when Zach Nyberger left because he'd done so much and really been here almost since the start. He got his opportunities now in Division One at Marquette in the Big East and doing fabulously. I'm excited for him. So now it's the next guy, right? First the day Zach left, I'm like, dang, how we replace Zach? And then Vuk comes in and he has a different personality in a different way, but adds something to the mix. And as a more experienced coach, it's always exciting to see young guys sort of grow and develop. So I'm looking forward to see what he does the next couple of years.
Looking kind of going back to your offensive attack, Philip Caputo has been a player that you have seen growth from these past 2 seasons. Caputo is currently the all-time points leader at St. Cloud State with 23, and 19 of them have come in the previous 2 seasons. How have you seen his game grow, and what can we expect from Caputo this upcoming season?
Well, foolishly, I played him at right back, I think, his freshman year. I'm not sure we knew what we were doing. Phil, every day, he played last year really kind of a bit hobbled, hurt the whole season. He had surgery to correct a groin problem in the off season, and he's come back. He's stronger. He is of all the guys coach. Certainly, we're only really in year 4 of this program here, but I've been coaching a while. He is one of the most dynamic, one of the most committed, one of the most passionate players I've ever coached. Like, he wants to win, and I think his biggest challenge this year will be dragging guys along with him, right? To be contagious, to be infectious to the rest of the guys on the team, that they want that same kind of hunger. And it was challenging for him at times. When he was younger, he would get emotional and cards, and always kind of had to show off his emotions and be loud and so on. But I think properly directed and focused, he's incredible. He just he's American, but he's Brazilian, but he's American, but he's a Brazilian, right? And so he has just a intuitive sense of the game. And he's a guy, we have Emmanuel Iwe, who's now playing in the third division in Germany. I think Phil, the graduating guys, has both the ability, the ambition, and an aspiration to be a professional. And I think it's a realistic goal for him.
You'd see a lot of that passion with his celebrations, always showing a lot of energy, a lot of excitement, a lot of guy that okay.
Yeah,
All right.
no, he loves it.
Oh, so in your tenure with St. Cloud State, your fifth year total, as we've seen, fourth season overall, we've seen growth and improvement every year from the following season. What will be the key to taking that next step as a program this year?
That's a good question. I think we've added some more. Probably one of the biggest things we did. We had a bye Sunday late in the season, and as it happened, excuse me. Illinois Springfield, who made a run the NCAA tournament last year, were looking for a game, and we were in Chicago, so we thought we'd pop down to Springfield. And those are the kind of tests that in the middle of a conference and an arduous conference season, we're going to try and test ourselves a little bit, and a little bit like when you watch college basketball or football, they play these big out of conference rivalry games, on a Monday night, the sort of the Big Ten ACC challenge, whatever. That's what we're looking for. And so we know the conference. Obviously, Roosevelt are joining us, and they're new, and that'll be a new entity for us. But it's we want to get out of the gate, and the biggest challenge for our team is this. We have half of our team is returning, and half of our team are freshmen and transfers. Right. And I think this is the new reality of collegiate sport, right? Guys are all over the place. We've got JUCO guys coming in and 4-year transfers coming in. I think this is going to be happening more and more across college sport. So the biggest challenge starting Sunday when we have our meetings and have our first year of team get together barbecue is integrating new guys into the team, right? And understanding what the culture is and what the expectations are, and the challenges of the GLIAC and the travel that we have. Part of growing up. So I think we're poised to. We've made improvements I wouldn't say every season. I think we've made improvements every semester. In fact, last year I thought we improved from week to week, right? When we had that bad result in Colorado early in the season. That was my worst loss personally as a coach, in my history of coaching, and then for us to be as good as we were, 2 months later was really remarkable, and I was proud of the guys. I think we as coaches worked hard. I think the players were receptive to change, and building something, is never easy, right? It takes some work and it takes the guys believing, but I think we're closer every season. So I'm looking for some progress.
Well, that team chemistry element too is so big. Like you talked about having that barbecue coming up, having those moments and that bonding to bring everyone closer together. That really helps you grow as a team too, as well.
Yeah, yeah. I think lots of people underestimate the value of what happens off the field, right? You sleep 8 or 9 hours a day, and you're at practice maybe 2 hours a day. There are a lot of other hours, where you're busy being a student, but even more importantly, being a teammate. Not more important than being a student, but
Yeah.
that's part of the experience, right? You're on bus rides with these guys. You're at the cafeteria having dinner. You're doing stuff in the community. You're watching soccer games together. We're down at hockey, or whether we're at hockey or wrestling or a basketball game or cheering on volleyball, who are really good. This is all part of the experience. And so when in our recruiting, we've looked for guys who are obviously good players, who are students and can be successful here at St. Cloud State. But more than anything, we wanted guys who other guys would want to hang out with. Like these are your friends for life, right? One day these guys will be in each other's weddings, right? Sooner than later. I don't know when it's going to be, but this is an important part of the process.
Bringing
So
in those
they
high
figured it.
character guys too is kind of goes along with what you were saying too. Bringing in those guys that are genuinely good people, good soccer
Yeah,
players too also helps, but you want to set them up for life as well.
be a good teammate. Be a good teammate. There's no greater compliment than I was a good teammate. So that's what we're looking for.
All right, final question as we wrap up this virtual sit down. Are there any final thoughts that you have about this upcoming season, and how excited are you to get back on the field in the coming weeks?
Really excited. Once you start seeing the guys in the hallway, I saw some guys in the gym, kind of walking through it. You get the energy. Freshmen are moving in tomorrow at noon. Yeah, it sort of builds a little bit. My first college season as a player, as a student athlete, was in 1983, and so this is 41 years later. Still as excited, still as excited. Kind of lying in bed at night thinking about oh man, let's go, and checking out the weather chart for the next 10 days. What's it going to be like? And what are we going to do? Got to make my Costco and Coburn's runs, get food to feed up the guys. And, we'll go through a lot of bananas and bagels and fruit and preseason or whatever. But yeah, it's still a fun buzz, still a fun buzz. And I think the guys are ready.
All right, well, I'm very excited too. So thank you, Sean, for sitting down virtually. Really excited about this upcoming season, and go Huskies.
Thanks, Isaac. You're the man.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Bye.